Thank you very much for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. I want to cut through the noise and get to where these areas may go and how much they may develop. It's going to be a lot of stuff out there as we go throughout the week as far as the potential of a couple named systems. So I value your time, so let's get right to it. Watching this spot, of course, the Bay of Campeche back toward the western Gulf of Mexico, likely to develop as we've been talking about. And then this area here, also I expect some development out of that. That is going to approach the Caribbean, but that is not necessarily going to move in for us. We're not in action mode. We're just kind of keeping an eye on that. Again, all of us have different resources and time, money, all that stuff when we're dealing with the tropical systems out there. I don't want anyone to have to take action if a storm is not coming there. I want to lower anxiety and just give the facts on what we're seeing. So here's what we're going. Let's go piece by piece. So thank you for your patience. Here we are in the Caribbean. You see this here near Antigua and Barbuda. That flare up close to home, that could bring us some showers and storms, not really developing into anything tropical in nature. It's this piece right here. That area may try to develop. The European model, though, has an area right behind it trying to develop. So I'll show you all of the models for both of these areas. Now, this area here, well, I expect some development out of it. It's not necessarily going to shoot directly in. Here's a look at some of the models on this. So let's break this down first. So here we are in Barbados, for example, Trinidad and Tobago right here, just to kind of orient you. Antigua and Barbuda, you get over toward Anguilla and St. Martin. The initial modeling on this, the steering conditions that I'm watching kind of behind the scenes, which I'll show you in a second, have this make a bit of a curl. It gets close to the northeastern Caribbean. We'll see if it develops into a tropical storm, but I'm more hopeful that this tries to make a curl and stays away from our islands. If it gets close, of course, I'll go island by island with anything we could expect, but that's kind of the initial outlook on that. And I know this map is crazy, but this shows those computer models over time. So this is 24 hours out. This is 2 days out. This is 3 days out. And it shows that area trying to gradually get into this, close to this green shading. Some of the models have it in the green shading, which would be tropical storm force. Others don't keep it don't even raise it to tropical storm status, just kind of keep it a strong tropical wave. Now, the bigger thing will be, well, where the heck is that headed? Now, I'm going to zoom down here. I want to go piece by piece, as I mentioned. I'll zoom down here in a moment, but in case I'm blocking this, I'm going to get back to this, just kind of highlighting these pieces out here first. So this is the bigger picture view. This is the American model. The American model does develop this, and it does develop this initial wave here. So you see this area here. This is going out in time a couple days. So this is by Tuesday, this area in the Gulf spinning up, and then this area trying to develop into a tropical depression or eventually a tropical storm. Now, as we go out in time further, so this here is Tuesday, there's a lot of these fronts here, and I'll show you more of the steering conditions with the European model. That's a good thing, because what that could do is help kind of have this make a curve. I never wish anything, of course, toward Bermuda or anywhere else, but as we work our way into Wednesday, you see this here. This area here is a little bit north in latitude. That's a good thing. So not directly necessarily moving into the Caribbean, and then this area here, of course, will be working in later this week. More on that in a moment. But this here, so here we are in Anguilla, St. Kitts, and Nevis, and there's that spin. You see how it makes a curl. So even if it were to develop, I'm a little more hopeful because of these fronts to the north that it will curve away. Now, it can eventually move into the Caribbean. There is that possibility it just stays weak, slides into the Caribbean, but the initial outlook is that that first tropical wave may make a curve before it gets into the Caribbean for us. Now, as we get down the road even further, as we work our way into next weekend, this is by Saturday, so we're talking about a week from now, there are going to be more tropical waves. It's not quite as dry out there. So I do expect a little more development out there. A wait and see, though, on that pocket right there. So here's the broad picture again. So you get over towards St. Lucia, Barbados, Trinidad. Here's this area I'm watching here. Now, this is the European model. The American model tries to develop this and keeps it away from us in the Caribbean. The European model develops the area behind it. So you can see with that, that's just telling me a lot of uncertainty. Here's the area in the Gulf. Here are these blockers, this area of high pressure, but it is way up toward the northeast, and that allows things to spin up. At this area of high pressure, we're sitting right about here, right? That would block anything from going away and shoot it right into the Caribbean. But as of now, looking at those steering conditions, those blockers are kind of far enough away. That's a good thing. So I'm hoping things that even if they do develop, make a curl. Now going out in time here, this is by later on Monday. So you see this area here in the Gulf of Mexico that we're watching, and then this spot right here. It starts to develop it, but then it kind of switches. It says, hey, conditions aren't super favorable. There is still some of that dry air out there that has put a big wrinkle, a good wrinkle in the hurricane season. So you see here, this is by Tuesday, developing this area in the Gulf. But look, that first spot doesn't develop as much. Then it starts to try to develop that second area back behind it. But there's that big blocker, that big kind of fence, that is way to the northeast. So whatever tries to develop should kind of make more of a curl, kind of following these fronts up here. And then watching this area here on Tuesday that will gradually develop and lift up to the north. Now, the European model does not develop the area in the Gulf of Mexico quite as much. I want to show you some of the environmental conditions on that in a moment. It does spin it up, though, into a named system, most likely a tropical storm. This here would be by Wednesday. Here's that area that has it kind of diminishing over toward, here we are in the Caribbean. Here's that first area. The second area, though, it does try to spin that up into potentially a tropical depression or a tropical storm. And then this here is Thursday, showing a tropical storm moving into Louisiana, right here in the northern Gulf. This area fell apart, and then watching this area back behind it, a wait and see on how close that may get to the Caribbean, even if it does develop, because this is way down the road. Let's take you out time here. This is by the time we get into the end of the upcoming week. This is on Friday, so you can see this area here, hoping it takes more of a curve, because these areas of high pressure are not super dominant. There's these fronts. These fronts kind of help grab them and could lift them to the north, so to speak. So I'm a little cautiously optimistic on what's developing here. May make a curve before it moves into the Caribbean. Any changes on that, I'll be watching. So this first spot, the Icon model has it becoming a tropical storm. That's the German model. The American model has it becoming a tropical storm. The European model has it almost a tropical storm. And then as I showed you, it fizzles out. And the same thing with the Canadian model. It does not develop it. Almost all of the models, though, more importantly, the steering conditions kind of bring it a little bit more to the northwest and then start to make more of that curl away from the Caribbean. But I'm going to watch that cautiously because nothing has even developed yet. So it's really hard for these models to get a handle on it. That's why I'm really watching what's going on in the environment. All right, that's area 1. This is area 2, and then we'll get into the forecast in a moment. The Bay of Campeche, here's Merida. So you see some heavier rain. The initial concern will be some of the flooding along eastern Mexico as this area continues to flare up. That could put a wrinkle in it too. If the center forms very close to the coast of Mexico, sometimes it could duck inland, and that would change the forecast completely. But as it stands now, it looks like the center may try to develop a little bit away from the coast and allow this to work its way up toward the general direction eventually of Louisiana. But anything developing so close to the coast, that adds into some of the problems with the forecast, because sometimes they can duck inland or maybe not develop as much because they are dealing with the landmass. Again, these feed off of the water. So this area trying to work its way toward eventually Louisiana. As far as the strength goes, again, this is 1 day from now, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. In almost all of the models bring this close to tropical storm strength or about tropical storm strength. Few of the models do want to make this a hurricane. Wait and see. Intensity is the most difficult thing to forecast. The track forecast is much easier. The intensity is tricky, but most do bring this to at least a tropical storm. So you see the area here. So here we are over toward Campeche. You get toward Merida. This is on the flip side of Cancun and Cozumel. So here's Mexico City. And again, Mexico City, this action will be staying off toward the east. There's the heavy rain moving for us in eastern sections, northeastern sections of Mexico here. This is by tomorrow afternoon. And then you can see this area developing very close to the coastline. We'll see how close it gets. But either way, that huge surge of moisture. Again, it's been a ton of flooding already. That has been the big story with this over the last week to almost 2 weeks. And then the American model on Wednesday does have this wrapping up into a name system. Next name on the list is Francine. We'll see which area grabs that first, and then lifts this up toward Louisiana, and then just kind of soaks areas that have already been absolutely soaked, which is a high concern, of course, for flooding. And then Wednesday night, this continues to move in by Thursday morning, lifting to the north. And you can see a little bit better here on the winds, wind scale, kilometers an hour and miles per hour to keep everyone covered. Just some very gusty winds right along the immediate coast of Mexico as we go over the next couple days. Obviously, watching out for the development. This is by tomorrow afternoon. And then tomorrow afternoon, it does start to spin up. And you can see the circulation here as we go on time further into Tuesday. You see right there spinning up. There's that white shading. That would be winds gusting to about 50 miles per hour or 80 kilometers an hour. This is based on the American model, and then you could see it kind of lifting to the north further. Remember, the American model makes it a little stronger. The European model is a little bit weaker than this, and then you see it lifting up to the north. The red's getting in there. So the American model is saying, hey, this is going to be close to hurricane status or a strong tropical storm. The red is gust to 70 miles per hour. So you see it right there, some of that red sneaking in there. This is by Wednesday afternoon. That's when we'll see some substantial development, and then trying to work its way by Wednesday night and early Thursday, lifting right up into Louisiana. And as of now, that would mean tropical storm conditions with a very high threat of flooding as that works in. Now, let's get a look at what kind of the models are seeing. The European and the American model bring this area both into Louisiana. The icon has it becoming a hurricane. That's been one of the more aggressive models. Now, the American model, it's very close, has it either as a strong tropical storm or a Category 1 hurricane. The European model, about a tropical storm. Same thing with the Canadian model. The European model the last couple weeks has been doing better with the lack of development in the Atlantic basin. So all of my forecasts that I've been showing you have been leaning toward the European model. But either way, the track of this seems to be on track with a very good agreement, taking this closer to either extreme parts, eastern parts of Texas near Beaumont, and then back toward Louisiana. Now, the water temperatures, of course, this time of year, they're always warm enough. We're in mid-September, running at 30, 31 degrees Celsius, 86 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit. But what is interesting to note, you see this blue shading in here. There's been so much rain, southeast U.S., northern Bahamas, back through Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, that the water has cooled off a little bit over the last 7 days. You see that blue shading there. So water temperatures have gone down a little bit, and that's always good news when you have a developing system on top of that. So hopefully that helps prevent any crazy development. So whichever area, showed you two spots in particular, whichever area gets a name first will be Francine, then Gordon after that, Helene, Isaac, Joyce, Kirk, Leslie, Milton, Nadine. We haven't gotten too far down the list. We've had 5 named storms so far this season, but all 5 have made a landfall. Unfortunately, of course, Beryl, the one with the extreme impacts for us in the Eastern Caribbean, St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Grenada, the recovery still ongoing. So there's that area there near Guadalupe. You see that flaring up. Here's this area over here bringing that heavier rain toward parts of Mexico, Costa Rica, Panama. It's been very unsettled today. So in the short term, I covered this area lifting to the north. The Yucatan of Mexico and Belize, not a washout. Just some scattered showers and storms, even Guatemala and El Salvador. Some flooding possible, but the rain chance has dropped off. We're looking at scattered showers in here, Martinique, up through St. Kitts and Nevis, Saba, Statia, spotty showers, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, and Cayman Islands. We're kind of in between things, right? There's a lot of action to the east, a lot of action to the west, spotty shower storm, same thing, Cuba, Haiti, over toward the Dominican Republic as we work our way into Tuesday. Now the seas are going to be building, of course. Here's meters, here's feet. We'll eventually see some reds popping up, which would be about 5 meters plus, 15 plus feet over toward parts of the western Gulf of Mexico. This is by tomorrow. This here is by Tuesday. Everything building as the system develops. Of course, seas are going to be very, very dangerous in the western sections of the Gulf of Mexico. This here is by Wednesday. This here is by Thursday. And then on Thursday, keeping an eye on this area, which I'm hoping, of course, misses us in the Caribbean. Wait and see on development out of that. I'll be breaking that down all week long for you. Now, as we get up to the north Atlantic region of Canada, of course, we had some gustier winds, some rainfall yesterday. Thank you for leaving those comments. Today, still kind of active, and then tomorrow, some showers with the front clipping by Newfoundland more so. And same thing as we work our way, the front just kind of hangs around. So as we get into Tuesday, still over toward Newfoundland, a chance of some of those showers and some colder air sneaking in back behind the front. So as far as rain totals go, I mentioned us in the Cayman Islands and Jamaica, Cuba, just a spotty shower storm. Same thing through the Bahamas, Florida, then swinging, of course, back toward the Gulf. I'll swing around in just a moment. That's where there'll be some heavier totals. But this here is just kind of isolated in nature. Now, Dominican Dominican Republic back through the northeastern Caribbean. We're going to see some spots that could get upwards of about 50 millimeters of rain or 2 inches of rain or a little more. I showed you that flare up of the rain and storms right in here. So we are going to see some higher totals. Some of us won't get a lot. Others could get some of these tropical downpours. Anguilla, we may see some back towards St. Croix, over toward St. Thomas. Same thing, Dominica through Martinique, St. Lucia, but then south it starts to drop off. Barbados, some scattered showers. But as we get towards St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad, we are mainly on the dry side. If we get a shower, we're looking at 10 to 25 millimeters of rain tops. Same thing in Guyana, northeastern Venezuela, Suriname, we're generally dry. This is where we have those higher totals that I've been watching through Nicaragua, Honduras, Belize, scattered showers, not a washout, scattered showers. Of course, the heaviest rain will be working its way toward parts of Mexico, extreme eastern coastline here, and then watching the surge of moisture that will be eventually lifting up to the north. You see these brighter colors off my chart. That's upwards of a foot of rain. Watching that the next couple days over the Gulf of Mexico as that area does develop. So the rain chance is not high for us in Jamaica, a 30% chance today. It's low. Cayman Islands, we're mainly dry today. Rain chance about 20%. And as we work away toward Trinidad and Tobago, we're looking at a 30-40% chance passing shower possible. We get to the north, though, it is going to be a little higher. See the rain chance Monday, Tuesday for us in Barbados, 50 to 60% chance. Same thing in St. Lucia. Maybe a passing shower today, but the rain chance will bump up a bit tomorrow. And then we're generally on the dry side across Grenada. We are very, very warm. Same thing, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Rain chance only 30%. 30% chance today, Martinique. 40% chance by tomorrow. Rain chance a little higher as we get toward Dominica. We could see some scattered showers and storms. Very unsettled with that kind of non-tropical area that's been nearby. Same thing in Guadeloupe. But you see that rain chance. We get toward Antigua and Barbuda. It's higher for us. I showed you at the beginning of this video that area of rain storms just keeping us unsettled. So that's going to be the same thing for St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat. Same thing Anguilla and St. Bart's the next couple of days. We're going to see about a 60% chance of scattered areas of rain and storms. That goes for St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, 50-60% chance as well. About a 50% chance of some scattered showers and storms in Puerto Rico and the British and U.S. Virgin Islands. 30 to 40% chance as we get across the Bahamas, not as wet as a week ago. Turks and Caicos rain chance at 30%, and about a 20 to 40% chance the next few days in the Dominican Republic. Haiti the next couple days, mainly dry and very hot over toward Jacmel and Port-au-Prince. Get toward Hopkins, over toward Belize City, Ladyville. Scattered showers and storms. It's not a washout today. Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire headed into a church this morning. We're mainly on the dry side in the next few days, generally staying on the dry side. Rain chance very, very limited, and the rain chance is not high in Guyana. Could see a few showers and storms. Suriname, we're back into that dry pattern with the action all to the north. Isolated showers and storms across Cuba. 70 to 80% chance of some showers and storms as we get back toward Costa Rica and Panama. 40 to 50% chance in Nicaragua. Same thing in Honduras, not a washout. A 40 to 50% chance of some scattered showers and storms. Guatemala, yes, some areas of flooding, but the rain chance has at least gone down. Guatemala and El Salvador. Mexico City, looking at about a 50% chance. The tropical action off to the east. 40 to 50% chance, some scattered showers and storms. Yucatan and Mexico. Northern Colombia, 20 to 30% chance. Northern Venezuela, 20 to 30% chance. And looking out for an isolated chance of a shower in Bermuda as we get toward deeper into the week. That rain chance will pick up further. So Atlantic development is more likely, but watching the track of that area and watching to see if that dry air will win out. The European model is definitely still seeing some of that dry air, monitoring how close this area gets toward the Caribbean. Initially optimistic that this will make a curve for us, but watching that, and of course all of that Gulf of Mexico rain and that system developing is more and more likely, which is spelled out in this video. So thank you for your patience and hanging with me. I know these videos are getting long, just trying to cover everything. We're into the peak of the hurricane season. I appreciate your time. I value your time. Have a good and safe day ahead.